I've waffled on enough. Our fighters are ready to go. We're going to open up with a Ribbon Girl Ditto, because of course we are. And it's going to be Maxo on the left, and it will be Sheddy on the right. We're going to see Popper and the hottest of slaps versus the Roaster and the Burchuck. And away we go. So it's going to be a very nervy and cagey start to this. Obviously, both with the Ribbon Girl, both will be wanting to do their dabble top jumps, their double dashes, and just try and keep in that air and maybe bait out a little bit of a throw from the opponent first. As you can already see, pretty much even Stevens at the moment, just basically trading punch for punch. The Popper is very quick, but it'll get punched down by anything. Sheddy thought that they were close enough to go for the grab, but just not quite got the timing of it. And Rush will come out, catches Maxo just as they land, so we'll take the initiative, and a good start here for Sheddy. Maxo actually going to go for the rush very early on, despite already being in critical, so they've got a long way back to climb from that. And Sheddy had that read very much on point, and gets a little bit of a punish on Maxo. Gotta be careful of that hot slap though; it'll immediately just deck you the second it hits if it's charged. That's what the fire element does by default, and Maxo is just a poke away from seeing the first point go to Sheddy. Roaster is going to miss, but the Burchuck will get the tap, and Sheddy takes the initiative in point number 1. And now we're going to see neither of them change. No, actually no, Maxo is going to drop the pop and bring in a Roaster of their own, so both will now play with the unguided glove. There's no guidance system whatsoever in that glove, but it does do the big damage. Sheddy thought they were close enough to get the little poke juggle, but not going to happen. Instead, Maxo, second time's the charm, will land the rush, 285. Much better start from Maxo this time round. Burchuck is still proving to be a little bit of a struggle, but wonderful little maneuver there. Dodges aside, comes straight back in with a grab of their own. Beautifully done by Maxo. Just look how elegant these Ribbon Girls are. And that's another well-placed grab for Maxo. They are very much getting back into the swing of things. Sheddy will finally get a little bit of a poke. That Roaster doing big time damage. That's why it makes up for the non-guidance system. Roaster just got back to Sheddy in time to cancel out the quick poke from Maxo. And so far you see the Burchuck firing in 2 different ways. It's always nice to see both variants of that weapon being used in a fight. And that's another well-placed grab from Maxo. Both with rush available. Both pretty much in KO range, and it is going to be Maxo who has to take it on the chin. Not actually going to get a KO here though, just about lives, but they will not be allowed to take another point of damage. And unfortunately, there it is. They did get the punch with their own Roaster, but Sheddy was not close enough to the KO, and that is going to be a 1-0 lead for Sheddy. Oh. What? Any... Oh, okay, I was about to type into chat going, if you type in any stage in the chat, I will press randomizer. I will do it, but Sheddy quickly jumped in and went, no, we are going to sparring ring, just to make sure we are definitely going to sparring ring, that random is not happening. So, Maxo is going to come in with double Roaster this time round. Sheddy will stick with the Roaster and the Burchuck and immediately flings in with a Roaster of their own. But, yeah, a quick little trade. Sheddy did very well to see that match to its end. Maxo was definitely getting a little bit more momentum onto their side, but Sheddy just being that little bit more consistent in the latter half of that. We'll see if they can keep this up again. But they've got to be careful. Maxo is getting some very good jump pokes with that grab. It's always nice to see those kind of strategies come out and actually work. So Maxo knows that Sheddy does have moments where they are already committed to their movement, and Maxo picks up the grab beautifully as a result. But it's slow on the rush charge up here though, and it is going to go Sheddy's way. Another big time damage, 325. They're trying to keep Maxo in this corner, not allow their Ribbon Girl to start mounting too much. They want to keep this under control. Burchuck will punch through the grab, and goes to punch through another one. Maxo had to resist, gets in with the rush now. Crucially for Maxo, they can't afford to take another point of damage, and unfortunately they are going to do so, as this Ribbondetto is very much going the way of Sheddy here. And it's going to be another point lead for Sheddy. They're just looking for one more to book their ticket into the next round. And Maxo, you now see coming out with the hottest of slaps again. See if that can change anything this time round. And Sheddy goes, if you want to grab me, I could do it too. And the Birdchuck again going to immediately get the little chill. The chill just completely removes your character's ability, and also, well, just pretty much slows you and just bolts you to the ground. And if you get the shield up, that is your instinct to do, you can get punished with the grab, as you saw Sheddy do there. And again, just trying to wall them into the corner. Maxo will block this out. It's going to be chip damage and nothing more. Another good grab for Maxo, so they've got that bolted down here. But now if they can get a good catch with the rush, they might be able to do something, but they can't. Sheddy, right in Maxo's face, actually punched through with the Birdchuck. And no rush for Maxo. They're going to find themselves in critical condition. Going to get another grab, keep the pressure on Sheddy, but 2 more hits will definitely seal it if they're not careful, and a grab is not going to help them at all. So 1 more poke from pretty much anything will do. Maxo again with another solid grab with 25 seconds to go. They're both just hopping around, and it is going to be the Birdchuck that will land. Maxo committed to the grab, and Sheddy was ready for it this time round. Will take that 2 points to 0, and Maxo is immediately going to go straight down into the underground bracket, and Sheddy proving why Sheddy is able to have that good consistency, and showing why Ribbon Girl is such a good, strong character. So Sheddy already into round 1 with a 2-0 win. And Maxo was going to have to do a fair bit to work their way back through the underground bracket. As we have a look to see what is going on. Have we got updates and results? No, we don't. That is the only match we have an update for. Sheddy is really good indeed. So yeah, whilst we wait for results to for the next few results to come through, because we have not seen them in quite some time, I will give a quick little shout out to the chat. So Luigi, welcome in. Yoshi, obviously you are a fellow participant, so is Replicant. Hopefully you're all busy and doing as good as you can. Asopa, also nice to see you as well, and obviously Rafa. Rafa coming in with the Tamashi quick stats. I mean, look, this is what I do. Casting is my thing. I've been doing this for 2 years, and if I'm going to cast a thing, I'm going to try and find as many results and compile them in whatever way I can. So yeah, I literally have an Excel sheet that tells me who the top 3 for each of our 47 Challenge Cups there have been. So yeah, if you want to throw out like a random question here and there while I'm killing time, I can absolutely do so. Which is why when I was compiling the stats for the players who were playing today, I was like, oh, there's Riffa. Riffa's the only one with 10 wins. Everybody else has either 2 or 1 or none. And then Iceman joined in. I was like, oh, Iceman actually has more wins than Riffa does. So I guess the target is to try and knock Iceman and Riffa down into the underground bracket, because if you can do that, you edge that little bit of history. You keep it away from them, or more specifically, you help Iceman stop Riffa from getting closer to their overall win count. But yeah, like I said, we've got 4 people who haven't won the cup participating. We've got 3 people who have won it once. We've got 3 people who have won it twice, and then we've got Riffa and Iceman who have won it 10 times or more. So it's quite a jump. It's quite a jump from people who have won 2 to people who have won 10 plus. It's a bit silly when you look at it, but that's just how it goes. And even then, like Junior, the reigning champion, their first win was literally the last win. So you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So yeah, we currently have the results for Sheddy Maxo. So Maxo will go down into the underground bracket. They will face the loser of 8, which on challenge will be the Riffa, the Rafa versus Grimwood or Okrim. But yeah, we are still waiting results on all of those. And I feel sad not to see ARMS tournaments in Latin America. Oh, I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, there are a lot of people in the ARMS community that, you know, I feel like if you'd ask around, someone might be able to help you out. You never know. You never know. To be fair, for us in Europe, we have to kind of make do with our own as well, because Nintendo likes to do the ARMS Online Open for NA, but they don't do it for Europe, which is a little frustrating. So that's why you see a lot of tournaments like this pop up, so that we can do our own special events, so we can build up to our own Top 8 Invitational, which we had last weekend. So there's all sorts of stuff happening, and it's great fun. It's great to watch, and if you're in the correct region, it's good to be a part of. So it's why it's massive shout outs to everybody behind the scenes who help run and organize the Challenge Cup series, because without you, well, I certainly wouldn't be doing much else. So thank you, it's much appreciated. We're getting results slowly but surely. Repticon has beaten Yoshi Bowser 2-0, so it will be, and obviously we know that Sheddy will be going up to fight Junior. So we've got Junior versus Sheddy, Iceman versus Repticon. Yam has beaten Cosalina in our first 2-1 of the day, so that went the distance. Yam beating our Cosalina, so it will be Riffa versus Yam in round 2. We are still currently waiting for results from Grimwood and Okrim. So we will we'll see what happens there. I've just got a little message saying thanks for what you do, and it's like, thank you so much. So yeah, we're still waiting on results from Grim Okrim. I always like how that flows off the tongue. It's always quite nice. So everybody who does lose and drops into the underground bracket, they've got a bit of breathing time. They can have a little bit of a break. I mean, you can ping into chat if you so wish, and you know, let everybody know who you are, what you do, etc., etc. Because you will not be having another match until round 2 is done, where we get the next batch of 4 to drop down into the underground bracket, because that's how double eliminations work. So whilst we do so, and if you are wondering, if you are new to ARMS and you would like to try and get involved in whatever way, shape or form, like I said, there are plenty of events around so many different communities running. But also, don't be afraid if you see, like, if you're in America, for example, if you see every other person using coil, or if you're in Europe, and you're seeing a lot of ribbon girls bouncing around, you don't have to play as a character that you don't like, or if you've tried playing them and you feel like you're more of a mummy or a Mechanica. If you're more of a Mechanica, I love you loads for several reasons, but never feel free to not use a character because maybe everybody else is using another character. You find who you want to play with. Every single character in this game has their own ability, their own perks and traits, and everyone can use the exact same arm. So no matter which character you have, all of the arms in the games are spread across every character. So feel free to pick a character you like, try out with as many arms as you want, and just throw yourself in there. And a lot of people in the community will gladly give you tips and advice, and you know, there's always something. There's always something else to learn. Even top players like Riffin, Iceman and Malieve, who I've learnt a lot from Mechanica with, still say that they have so much to learn in this game. And that tells you everything. So we do have another 2-1 victory. So we've had 2 2-0s and 2 2-1s in round 1, and that went the way of Grimwood, who beat out Okrim by 2 points to 1. So it does mean we'll have Rafa versus Grimwood in our final match of round 2. So who are we going to be getting on stream next? It is going to be the individual with the highest amount of wins in the Challenge Cup, Iceman, to go up against former 2-time winner Replicant. That is going to be our second round match. So let's welcome on in Iceman and Replicant. And there we go. And they're going to be in the right order as well, which is even better. Every now and then you'll see like the names just suddenly switch every now and then, and that's because the first person in on a split screen camera will always be designated the left hand side. So whoever comes in first is the left hand side. So if I've already set the scoreboard up, just as a heads up, just in case you see it happen, and then they suddenly switch, it's because they came in at the wrong time. That's just how it goes. So we are I like that. We had sparring ring twice in round 1, and Iceman immediately comes in and goes, yeah, we're not having that. We're not having sparring ring again. So we are going to see which of our other 4-star stages we're going to see first. So hopefully you're sitting comfortably. We'll keep you updated where possible in terms of results. Normally when we finish round 1, we normally have results pretty much ready to go. Like there's already a match or two already done. This is a rarity. Normally we don't have a round 1 streamed match done before all of the other matches. So you get the general idea. It's just how it goes. So Replicant will be looking to see if they can cause a bit of an upset here. Iceman is most certainly one of the, if not the highest seed in this tournament, because, 12 wins. It very much puts you at that kind of top level, really, doesn't it? It's going to be Temple Grounds we are going to be starting with. Iceman is ready to go, so is Replicant. You'll see our fighters line up. It'll be Min Min versus Loda, so we won't have a Ditto, so don't you worry about that. And without further ado, round 2 is upon us. And already you can see both with a cool arm on their side of things. We're going to see them both use their variants. So we're going to see a Sparky and an Ice Dragon for Iceman. And we're going to see Replicant coming out with the Coolerang and the Tribal. So a stun and a cold approach versus a cold and a shock approach. So both going for their own kind of stalls and their delays. But in very different ways. Obviously the Sparky is just a straight up punching glove. It's exactly what it does, exactly what it needs to do, and obviously if it can hit, it will just completely shock that Lola. You do have to be quite close to get the punish with the grab though, because it is one of the shorter times for the shock, and Replicant is playing with the bolt, so they'll just go for that stun approach and maybe try and make sure that Min Min does not keep that Sparky up on the Dragon on for too long. As we were saying about character abilities, Min Min's ability is to have that the left arm perma-charged, which does go away if they get knocked down like that, so they'll have to charge it up all over again. Replicant gets hit with the cold effect from the Dragon and gives Iceman enough time to get the Spark charged back up. Gets a nice little combination there. The Dragon was committed, and the Spark just makes it in time. The Boomerang ran out, but the Sparky was already in direct line, and Replicant is going to lose the ability to do that rush. Having said that, they do have health lead here and get another crucial stun on Iceman, and another one as well, which puts Iceman into danger. I think that Boomerang just about flicked in. 10 seconds left on the clock. Replicant is now in critical, and Iceman is putting the pressure on big time because they know they need to hit something here. With 2 seconds to go, they do get the hit, but it's not gonna be enough. Replicant holds on by centimeters, if that, and takes the initiative in the first point. We will come out with another Coolerang Tribolt versus Sparky and Ice Dragon. I think Iceman got the Dragon up straight away. Yes, they did. Both pretty much with rush available. Replicant gets another hit with the Coolerang, and that's exactly what it does best. It is a curved arm. Even if it doesn't hit as a charged hit, it's still enough to just hinder Min Min. Just unfortunately, just keep them a little bit on their toes, but they are going to get the shock and grab confirm. Replicant is going to waddle on through it. Their shield gives Lola's ability allows her to get the shield up and waddle alongside, and also deploy it when they bounce as well. So it's why Iceman's having a little bit more of a harder time of landing their hit. They are going to come out with the rush. They finally do get it. And the Dragon does massive amounts of damage with that rush. I've only just realized that it says 2-0 to Replicant, which is not the case. I do apologize. I forgot to update that. Replicant with rush available. They are down at the moment. Oh, and they're going to unfortunately go foul of that Sparky Punch, which is always unfortunate. I hate to see that kind of thing happen. With 25 seconds to go, Replicant's going to have to do something quite miraculous if they want to pull this back. They do hit with the bolt. They cannot afford to get hit anymore. They get the bolt. Oh, they just a little whiff there. But having said that, they've got this into KO range if they wanted to go for this rush. Iceman going to try and bait it out. This might be a shield break. It is a shield break. They're going to need to get a grab though here. And will they get it? No, they will not. And it means Iceman is going to take the initiative. It felt like it was an uphill battle for Replicant to win. And Iceman knew if they just shielded it, all they had to do was dodge the next grab attempt and they would be fine. So they will start this with rush available. It's the kind of advantage that you definitely want to take in a point that really matters, especially this early on in the competition. Sparky gonna bounce harmlessly off the shield. So too does the Dragon for the time being. What was that? That poke free? That must have been the cooler rank. It certainly wasn't the tri-bolts. They were completely stopped there. And it is Iceman who, it's not the end of the world to take the first initial bits of damage, because it's okay if you get the shock like that. 355, the Dragon does so much damage in its rush form. It's why you cannot afford to be caught out by the Sparky like that. Replicant does have rush available, but they're trying to find a place to trap Min Min in, and does so beautifully. 250 damage. Now going to keep Iceman in that corner, and this is not what you want to see. This is going to be a very cold chain here for Iceman. Not going to be able to deflect the grab attempt, and Replicant has suddenly turned this right around and gets another hit with the cooler angle because Min Min was in the air when it hit. Immediately hits the deck. And suddenly this has turned around beautifully for Replicant. 30 seconds left on the clock. Iceman almost with rush, does have rush available. The Dragon could change this if the rush can hit. Just about getting away from that Sparky, but that is not what Replicant needed, because now in critical condition, Iceman is going to put the absolute massive amount of pressure here. Oh, and they should not have done that. Iceman was already on the way to the side. And unfortunately, Replicant committed when they really should not have done so, and gets completely shut down by Iceman, who is going to take the lead. Beautifully done there. Nice comeback. 2-1 victory. They'll lead the set by a point to 0. Replicant was doing so well. They managed to turn that around beautifully. But unfortunately, the second Iceman realizes that they've got the advantage on their side, the second they can go ahead and play that kind of aggressive style, knowing that they have the rush available, they can do that kind of intimidation tactic. And unfortunately, Replicant overcommitting on one of their attacks when Min Min is a very mobile character, immediately sidestepped the whole lot of it and just flung in with the rest of the rush. Looks like we might be having a Discord issue, which, if that is happening, that's not good. That's pretty much where we do most of our match communication. If Discord is having a bit of a problem, looks like things are working okay, but we might have lost a message or two there. But it looks like we're okay. Looks like everything is working fine now. And I can tell you, Iceman is immediately again going to ban Sparring Ring. It's just not the kind of stage that they want to be playing on. We are going to see Buster Beach come on to rotation. So we're going to have 3 of 5 starter stages on show in the first 2 rounds, which is always nice to see. So the only ones we haven't seen so far have been Mausoleum and DNA Lab, and obviously the 2 counter picks. But maybe we'll see those a little later on. You never know sometimes. It honestly depends on the mood. But most of the times you generally ban to your character strength. Either that, or you ban to make sure that you do not allow your opponent to have the stage advantage. So Buster Beach, a little bit different, has those hot pockets behind Iceman, as you can see there. You do not want to be trapped in those 2 areas. Iceman's going to immediately double back and get the charge up on their Sparky. So Replicant will have to do everything they can to just block that shield, make sure they don't get caught, and try to fling in where possible. Iceman quickly going to U-turn that around. Now it's Replicant in the danger area. They do not want to be pegged down there, and they certainly don't want to be given Iceman the range to be able to utilize the dragon. It excels at the long range game. And so far, Iceman doing a pretty good job of avoiding, but finally does get hit by not one, but two bolts. The second one being charged. Make that a third hit with that bolt. It starts to add up the more and more you take of those. And Replicant was on a roll there, but now going to do exactly what you should not do. Get the shield up and hold it there. Iceman will punish with the grab. Both with rush available, and it did go through, it did connect. It connected twice in two very weird exchanges there. It's damage at the very least, but it's certainly not the damage that Replicant was looking for. Gets another stun with the tri-bolt. I'm not 100% sure they were expecting that to actually land. Sometimes that is just the way it goes. 30 seconds left on the clock. Replicant has a lead and is slowly but surely extending it. Iceman in critical and gets a shock. This should be a KO with the dragon, and it's not. 355 damage, but Replicant survives on pretty much 1 HP. Gets a hit with the birch hook. 7 seconds to go. Oh, Iceman, why? Oh, you just saw Replicant just wobble on forward. Iceman went, I'ma shield this because you're probably going to rush. And it's like, no, they're going to grab. They're going to always grab at that kind of situation. And the grab KOs. And Replicant pulls it off at the right at the death on 1 HP. And Replicant's going to bounce straight on through that as well. And starts with the rush, 210. Good start for Replicant, and Iceman's got it all to do right at the start of point number 2. And I'll quickly block out the dragon attempt. Replicant definitely prefers this kind of a stage. Temple Grounds is incredibly different in the fact that it's a bit more wider, and obviously the pillars do come into play, whereas here there are no pillars to hide around. It is a lot smaller of arena, and Replicant is finally going to get caught out by the grab. Gives Iceman a chance to keep the dragon up on that Sparky. I thought Replicant might be able to get away, but again going to fall foul to another rush from Iceman. The dragon just chipping so much health away, and that's going to be just a straight up double punch through. And Replicant again finds themselves in critical condition and has to do the fight back all over again. Gets a stun. Again, I don't think they were expecting it to land. And they'll catch Iceman with the rush as well. 330. And again, it's turned on its head immediately. Just about dodged the Sparky attempt. And the next one, Iceman trying to get some kind of a distance here. Gets caught by the birch hook, and with 30 seconds to go, Replicant could steal this one away again. Iceman with rush. They may just choose to go for it just to keep this set going. They are going to do so, but this time it's not going to happen. It will be blocked out. Sparky just punched out in mid-air. We've got 10 seconds on the clock. I think Iceman has their health lead here, so Replicant has to go on the offensive, and Iceman knows this. They're going to throw out Sparky after Sparky, but they're going to get caught by the bolt. Replicant just needs to keep Iceman away and does so. Activates the rush. Iceman can't get up in time, and Replicant is going to tie this set up. It's 1 apiece, and our first on-stream appearance of the third match. Oh, well, that is, Iceman will be kicking himself a little bit there. That's 2 leads he threw away in that point. Well held from Replicant on both occasions. So this set is very much not over yet, and if Replicant could do this, it would be an upset. It would be an upset if it were to happen, because, like I said, Iceman is a 12-time winner. If Rep knocks Iceman into underground bracket in round 2, yes, we do consider that an upset. We are going to see our first counter pick of the day, and it is going to be Scrapyard, so it's going to be a much more lively stage this time round. So we're going to have 2 pillars in the middle. We're going to have so much elevation change, and it is quite a small arena as well. So it's a little bit more on the chaotic side, but you're speaking to the manipulator of chaos here. She greatly appreciates that. So, Iceman on the left. Iceman gonna come in with the Ribbon goal. So, gone is the Min. We're gonna see Nade and Siki coming out. Replicant, meanwhile, kind of anticipated that, has brought in the Hydra to go alongside that Berchuk. So, they are going to try and just use those 3 vertical prongs to just shut down Ribbon Goal at any and all costs. But naturally, they need to be careful. They cannot afford to be caught by the massive shock explosion that is from the Siki. But those kind of moments will be great. For Iceman, it is high risk, high reward for them, because as you saw, the self-destruct on the Siki means it's an electrical self-destruct. So it'll shock Iceman in the process. So they have to be that little bit more careful and strategic with their punches. The Hydra again just going to run straight through. Again, it's a hot element, so it's going to just immediately drop Iceman to the floor and also deal the big damage in and of itself. 310. Iceman does have rush. A Siki rush can very quickly just cleave the health away, and it's going to do exactly that. 390. Actually, I think the second explosion wasn't quite where Iceman would have wanted it to be. Gets the grab though. Can retake the lead with that. They're going to try and go for a cheeky little second, but not going to happen on this occasion. Replicant has a bit of distance, tries to get a hit with the Hydra. I think the Nade actually got an AoE explosion. 15 seconds on the clock. Replicant has got to move forward here because Iceman not only has the lead, but it's just chalking up the distance. That's another shock. The rush will come out. Oh, that's going to be massive, massive, brutal damage. But shockingly, Iceman still has the lead. Oh my gosh. I wasn't looking at the health, and as they landed, Iceman somehow had a millimeter more health than Replicant. Yeah, I hate to see that happen. Replicant knew that that was their moment, but Iceman just somehow held on. They will start with the advantage as well, and Replicant knows that, actually catches Iceman in the air with that Hydra. So just goes to show, yes, you may have rushed, but I can still hit you with it, and gets away from the missile rush this time. Keeps themselves very much in contention in this match. There's no pillars to dance around anymore. They are going to get caught by that Siki again. And with 75 seconds on the clock, Iceman is bringing this back with every single missile hit they land. And Replicant just can't seem to get a foothold of the Hydra, but finally does so. And the Siki's explosion, that shock for it just lasts oh so long. Berchuk is at least able to punch out the Siki, and look at that immediate grab, and you just saw Iceman just go, nope, you're too far away to really go for the grab, so just let me be free. Gonna get caught by the tip of that Hydra again, and Replicant has a massive health lead here, but again, if the Siki rush can land, it can change it all very much around, and at this stage, Replicant will just be trying to land a couple more key hits. They'll not want to use the rush where possible, and with Iceman now using theirs, both arms weak, and Replicant will say, you know what, you've used your rush, I'll use mine. We'll just completely set this to a nice, fair spot. It's one apiece in the set, it's one apiece in the match. Winner takes all at this point, and Iceman says, that's enough of the Siki, it's causing me too much grief, it's actually doing more damage to me than good. And Replicant blocked both rushes in that match, so we're going to see if the Triblast can do it. It's still big risk. It's still high risk, high reward, since the Triblast is an explosive arm, just like the Nade. Obviously, the Nade is unguided, which is why they're really hoping to land something with the right arm. But so far, the Hydra and the Berchuk has a read for Iceman and their wonderful agile body. Both slowly but surely charging their rush. They'll probably get there at the same times here. And Replicant is finally going to drop that health lead. The Nade is connecting over and over and over again. Finally, the Hydra pops the Ribbon Girl just to remind them not to get too close. The Hydra can and will shut them down. It is going to be a rush coming out. It won't break the shield. Weaken both arms on the side. And Ribbon is going to get caught for that as a result. Actually, the rush gave them a little bit of a lifeline there. It popped them onto the high ground and denied the rest of that rush from hitting. So Replicant is going to have to do the rest of the damage the hard way. They have a lead here, Iceman, but it's slowly dwindling away with 80 seconds to go. If the Hydra can somehow hit, well, I say that now, Replicant is not allowed to take any more damage. These explosions would KO them. Both going into critical. Both will have a rush pretty much ready to go in the next 15 seconds, and they both do. So it's going to be the case of who lands what first. both on similar health, both with a rush with 8 seconds to go. Who is going to blink first? Who is going to take the initiative? Iceman going to come for it. Oh, and they are going to land. Replicant was waiting for them. They landed. And unfortunately, that hesitation from Iceman has cost them dearly. Replicant with the upset has knocked the 12-time winner of the Challenge Cup down into the underground bracket. Replicant moves forward with a 2-1 victory. Oh, a mistake, a bit of hesitation and misplacement from Iceman saw them drop straight down, and unfortunately the Hydra wasn't gonna miss from there. The rush KO'd. It's tiny mistakes like that that could just throw it all out of the window, but what a brilliant set regardless from both. Iceman showing why they've won this so many times, and Replicant showing that they can indeed beat the big names like Iceman and maybe even Riffa if we see them advance through into the semi-final, and they are indeed going to do so. So Shetty is also beaten Junior by 2-0. So Shetty has knocked reigning champion Junior down into underground bracket. Riffa beats Yam 2-0, and Grimwood with another 2-1 set, this time against Rafa. So Grimwood has had 2 best of 3 matches go to match 3. So our semi-final lineup is looking like this. 10-time Challenge Cup winner Riffa will take on Grimwood, and 2-time Challenge Cup winner Shetty. Yep, 2-time Challenge Cup winner Shetty will take on 2-time Challenge Cup winner Replicant. So this is going to be a spicy semi-final. Of that there is no doubt. So let's get ourselves set up. Let's take a quick moment to have a little bit of a breather. Maybe get some water if you haven't done so already. Everybody needs to make sure they stay hydrated, especially me, because my word, my voice has been quite at it this past weekend. I've had 3 weekends in a row where I have been doing a good amount of commentary. And like, seriously, it's been a nutty 3 weekends. We've done some Splatoon, we've done a lot of ARMS. I think we did ARMS each of the weekends. Last week and this week we have done Rocket League onto the foray as well. So it's been a busy 3 weeks. So yeah, make sure you look after your voices and take care of yourselves, as is usually the case. So it is going to be Riffa versus Grimwood. And Riffa is already waiting for us in the lobby. Obviously we've seen Riffa perform so many times. I think a couple of weeks ago he finally got dethroned on the in-game dashboard, and I think that was by Replicant. And then it was just like throughout the next couple of weeks it was like, Riffa's probably not going to take that line down. He's probably going to come straight back and, you know, take that one away. And to be fair, he's like that with anything. Like any kind of tournament situation, any kind of competitive scene, he wants to be at the top, because that's what Riffa is all about. Back in the Scrapstar series days, we would literally say it's the Riffa Revolution, because Riffa would just endlessly win that series. So you get the general idea. So Grimwood will be doing everything they can to try and dethrone them. It is always interesting to note that they've all been on some good consistent sprees as of late. Grimwood last winning 2 cups ago, the 45 edition, and Riffa, to be fair, has had a tournament here and there where they've taken a backseat. They just had, you know, a little bit of a chilled moment, just to sit back, relax a little bit. And to be fair, that's absolutely fine to do in any competitive environment. Having a break from tournaments actually can help. Like, you can't always be expected to perform at the highest capacity and not have your mental health or well-being just stay at that level, because it's not always the case. It can dip and dive all over the place because life happens. These kind of things always come up. So it's always nice to see when you have people like Riffa just take a sit back and go, okay, just gonna relax for a moment. And to be fair, last week ended up being, not last week, the week before ended up being a pretty spectacular event as a result. That's not to say that Riffa will not bring his A game. He will, but it just means that winning this cup is going to be that little bit harder. But having said that, Iceman's already in the underground bracket, so all we need is Grimwood to do the upset and send Riffa down there, and you never know. Anything could happen in this competition, and we've seen it happen oh so many times beforehand. Right, without further ado, we are going to see Mausoleum come up, which means the only starter stage that we haven't seen so far has been DNA Labs, so hopefully you're all sitting comfortably. Our first semi-final is about to be underway, and it's going to be Riffa on the left coming in with Ninjara. Who else? This is Riffa we're talking about. Riffa means Ninjara, that's his life. Grimwood meanwhile is going to come in with Coil, going to come in with that Roaster and the Chakram, and obviously Riffa coming in with the Pop and the Lockjaw. So it's going to be a very interesting little dynamic we're going to have going on here. Obviously Riffa can do their wonderful little teleportation spiel with the blocks and the side jumps, the side dashes as well. Grimwood with Coil, meanwhile, is going to have the ability to throw out a third arm. It'll be randomized, so it'll either be 2 Chakrams or it'll be 2 Roasters. And I can't tell you how much of an annoyance it is going up against 2 curved arms, let alone 1. But Riffa is making it work so far, scoring with the Popper, which is such a quick firing arm. Yes, it can be punched through by everything, but with the fact that the Chakrams are a curved tool, the Popper could probably get there before the Chakram even gets close to hitting Ninjara, and the Lockjaw is just added insult to injury, really, just on the fact that it can fire that little mini fireball and also coast on through without it. And Riffa just being mean at this point. The very first appearance on stream, and it's a perfect, because of course it is. And Riffa immediately fires out with another quick Popper hit. And you see Grimwood going to go for the double Roaster. Got caught initially. Will try and come in with a rush of their own. And you see why Riffa was trying to dodge and not shield. I think they were trying to go for another perfect, but does finally get a bit of that rush against, or from Grimwood even. So they'll have to settle for a near perfect if they don't get hit for the rest of this match. And Grimwood already down past the 50% mark. The triple Roaster strategy is just not working out for Grimwood here. Neither is this Coil. Ninjara is just operating on another level. The Popper is just hitting, and if the Popper doesn't catch you, the Lockjaw most certainly does, as it follows on behind. And the ability just juggling Grimwood up. Grimwood tries to go for the rush, but it's just not gonna happen. Gets immediately pegged down, and Riffa's just being absolutely brutal here, and yeah, this is why you don't allow Riffa to have time off for a tournament, because they just work on stuff that they've been doing mistakes with, find new arms, and yeah, it gets very brutal. We're going to see Sparring Ring make a return from round 1. This is Grimwood's choice, obviously, and Grimwood is going to drop the Coil and go back to the character we generally see them use, and that is Max Brass. And you see the Chiller and the Rust up there. They've got a Chakram in the back, but I don't think they're going to want to use it because the Popper is just being too quick for it. And so with Sparring Ring, Riffa's going to have less to really run around in. And we don't want to allow a character like Brass to dominate in a stage like this. It's all very close. It's all no obstacles, no running away. It's just a straight up strategic punch match. And Grimwood is showing why Brass excels on a stage like this. It's going to get caught by the Popper though. It is still quick, and obviously a character like Brass does have a much bigger hitbox. Trying to punch through the Lockjaw, but instead it's going to lose an arm. It was actually amusing there. You saw that Grimwood was able to stop the Popper from hitting, but obviously couldn't stop the Lockjaw because the Lockjaw was much heavier than all of the other arms. Grimwood tries to go on the offensive, but is going to be pegged down again by Riffa. These arms just being too quick for Grimwood. They will start with the rush available, but so far Riffa has had a say for everything that Grimwood has been able to throw. And again, just quickly jumps right to the side, fires in with the Popper, and is just relentless here from Riffa, punishing Grimwood at every possible moment. The Roaster isn't going to quite find the mark. The Chiller at the very least does, and Grimwood gets a quick little 1-2 poke and finally starts swinging the match into their way. Riffa whiffs the grab, unfortunately just bounces off the floor as Brass went up for the jump. Another chill, tried to close in for the grab, but Riffa was not going to allow that to happen, and Riffa a little too optimistic there. Moved forward straight into Grimwood's path. And a big time hug from Grimwood. And that's going to tie this up. It's one apiece in this point. They still need to win another point here to tie the setup and keep their chances alive. But this is a very good comeback here from Grimwood. And they are going to choose to bring in the Chakram. Now, I wonder if that's because they thought that River was going to switch out the popper, or if they just think that the Chakram is going to be a better fit here. I'm not 100% sure what the decision for that was, but we're going to see if the Chakram can work in this closed-in space. They are going to get a shield break because of that rush, and so far the Roaster couldn't quite find a way through. It can punch through the popper if it is on point, but the Chakram, it has to hit it on the curve if it wants to send it straight back. Otherwise, Riffa will still have a good advantage here. And Grimwood goes for the assault, but again, isn't going to find any of it. Finally does land for 80, but Riffa will gladly take that. It's certainly better than a 300 damage that you would generally see from a rush of that magnitude. And again, it's already available for Riffa. And with 40 seconds to go, you just feel like this is Riffa's to really lose at this point. Like, they've got control here. All they need to do is fling in with another rush, juggle Grimwood, and hit with the fireball. And that's exactly what they're going to do. That pretty much went to script there the second I read that out. So, all in my head, translated into reality. And Riffa will win this in a 2-0 match. I definitely don't think Grimwood should have switched to the Chakram. It just unfortunately was not a good tool to use against what Riffa was using. And that's just the breaks though. That's just sometimes how it ends up playing. So as a result, Riffa is going to book their ticket into winners final. They are into top 3 no matter what happens, as we get ourselves ready for semi-final number 2, which will involve Shetty and Replicant. Now, where our first semi-final saw pretty much one of the higher seeds go up against Grimwood, in this match, it's really a case of both had their own respective little surprises in their round 2 matches. Shetty knocked out the reigning champion, and Replicant knocked out, you know, the player who's won the most in this cup. So they've both ridden some good old confidence waves right here. So it's going to be interesting to see who can book their ticket into top 3 from here. Whilst we wait for them both to jump in, I can tell you that we've had some results from down in the underground bracket. So Rafa has had a best of 3 go the distance with themselves and Maxo. Maxo unfortunately dropping out, so unfortunately Maxo is out at the first time of asking, losing on both accounts, and Rafa going through into round 2 of the underground bracket. Yoshi managing to best Yam. I can't tell you how much of a surprise that is. Yoshi beat Yam 2 points to 1. That is a pleasant surprise. I am so happy to see Yoshi getting past underground round 1. I'm so happy for you. That is amazing. Well done. I would have loved to have seen that match. I would have loved to see that match just to see Yoshi do that. Iceman, doesn't look like there's any numbers on board between Iceman and Cosleen, so I wonder if that was a win by default. But in either case, Cosleen is out and Iceman is through. And Junior besting Okrim 2 points to 0. So the reigning champion is very much still alive, but they've got a mammoth task ahead of them. So in underground round 2, it is Rafa versus Yoshi Bowser and Iceman versus Junior. To put that into a perspective, that is the number 3 seed apparently versus the number 12 seed, and that is Iceman versus Junior. That match is going to be phenomenal because it means we're going to either lose the reigning champion or we're going to lose Iceman. We've got an amazing match happening in the second round of underground bracket. A big name is going out whatever happens down there, and that sucks. That really sucks. But that's just how it goes. That's sometimes how these tournaments play to you. So alright, it looks like it's going to be Temple Grounds between these two. So our second semi-final is underway. The winner of this will take on Riffa in the winners final. And who was the first one who got in? It was Replicant who was the first one in. So I'll just quickly swap them around. Replicant will be on the left, and Sheddy will be on the right of your screen. So it'll be Lollipop versus Ribbon-Girl. It's generally what we see. And Sheddy is bringing some Scullies into this, so this is going to be an interesting little setup. Replicant coming in with that Hydra. We saw the Hydra work against Iceman in the previous match, so they're going to see if they can ride the momentum of that and stop Sheddy's Ribbon-Girl in their tracks as well. They've also got the Birdchuck as well, so does Ribbon-Girl, so both coming in with the Birdchuck, but very different sidearms in the case of the Hydra versus the Scully. Scully, very quick, can leave a little bit of a poison sting, and a character like Lollipop does not want to suffer the stuttering effect of that poison. Having said that, the Hydra will probably punch through that if it does connect, and obviously if it hits the Ribbon-Girl, they're immediately hitting the deck, whatever happens, as long as it's charged. So, and that poison stack is starting to stack up. It'll stack up to a point of 3. Replicant commits to the rush, but Sheddy, able to move out of the side easily, pegs Replicant straight back down, and gives themselves a massive health lead going into the latter part of this first point. Replicant just dancing around the 4 pillars. They will crack eventually. I'm surprised Sheddy isn't allowing them to go down anytime soon. I think one of them just fell, but this poison is very much troubling Replicant, and the grab will KO. I think it took down the pillar right behind him in the process. Did it do so? Yeah, it did. Look at that little swing. Took down the pillar. Only one left. And Sheddy is going to lead by a point to 0 here. And we're going to see Sheddy keep that combination. Replicant isn't going to change theirs either. They definitely feel like the Hydra should work against Ribbon, and to be fair, it does work against Ribbon. You know, that kind of mobility that Ribbon-Girl possesses, the Hydra is very good at just shutting that down and just making that movement just that little bit harder. But so far, Sheddy has a read on it. He's able to get through every possible moment, but is finally going to get caught by the Hydra Rush. 270. The second you commit to an attack like that, and you can't really move anywhere, it's a little bit harder to break away from. Replicant is just going to choose to shield the rest of that arm weak on the left-hand side, but they're not bothered about it too much. This pressure from Sheddy is finally going to relent thanks to the Hydra hit. And having said that, well, that was actually really well played there from Replicant. The arm broke, but the Birdchuck managed to stop Sheddy from being able to take any kind of advantage over that. They did get a poison stack, but that was all they got. And now even then, that was right at the end of it. So, could have been better taken advantage of there by Sheddy. Replicant tried to go for the rush immediately again, but Sheddy had the wherewithal to get the shield up in time. They do have rush with 25 seconds to go. They are going to get tagged by this Hydra, and now they're going to force Replicant into the corner, but a 1-2 punch from Replicant was absolutely crucial. They're keeping themselves alive, and another charged hit with the Hydra. 13 seconds to go. Sheddy could still take the lead with the rush, but they're going to have to get a couple of good hits in here first. Gets the grab, sends Replicant into critical. They'll come in for the jump. Surely they will. No! Rep's going to just block the rest of it out. And as a result, it is going to be 1 apiece. Replicant will hold on for dear life, and actually not too far away from their rush as well. So what is Sheddy's call going to be? Are they going to fling in the rush straight away? Nope, they're going to hold on to it, but they are forcing Replicant straight back into the corner. They'll try to take advantage of that, but can't. And somehow Replicant was able to lose their arm, but not take any damage from that rush. That was an amazing little sidestep from Replicant. I don't know how they got away with that, and comes in with a rush of their own. Please somebody clip that entire moment. That was amazing from Replicant, and the rush landed square as well. Sheddy almost down to halfway. Replicant have a pretty good health lead. They're blocking out all of the shots that Sheddy is coming out with, and the Hydra again at the peak of Ribbon-Girl's jump is just gonna floor her straight away. And Replicant again might be forced into the corner, but they won't care. Sheddy is in critical, and Replicant has turned this match on its head from one single play. This is an absolutely amazing showing from Replicant. The rush will come out. It'll take Shetty all the way down to 1 HP. The rush will come out. It'll land on Replicant. Now with 35 seconds to go, Replicant cannot afford to allow Shetty to get back into this. They are only looking for one more hit. The Hydra doesn't quite hit it the first time around, but it does on the second time of asking. And just like that, Replicant will take the lead in the set somehow, some way. My oh my, what a set. What a way to start the our second semi-final. So, we are going to see Sparring and VoD banned. So, we're not going to see VoD yet. We are not going to see, DNA Lab hasn't been banned, but yep, it's going to be Temple Grounds again. So, Shetty knows that they can win on this stage. This stage is a pretty good one for them to play on, but Replicant, it took them a while to get into that, losing that first point, but wow, what a turnaround that was. They managed to just about hold on for the win on the second point, and then the third one, like I said, that has got to be one of the best rush dodges I think I've ever seen. The arm to actually go down and completely stop Lola from moving, but somehow managed to get out of the way of the last part of that rush. That was absolutely ridiculous. In any case, into match number 2. Replicant's going to take a little bit of a change in approach here. We'll bring in a Coolerang. Shetty, meanwhile, going to stick with that Burchuk and that Scully. They fully believe that they can win the match with this. So we're going to see if that Coolerang ends up working. Now, bearing in mind that we saw a similar kind of strategy in the previous set involving Rither, where if you saw the Chakram from Grimwood was just not able to hit before the Popper could hit. The Popper and the Scully are two very quick arms, so we're going to see if it hinders Replicant in the same way as Grimwood does. But so far, with the pillars completely up, the pillar is going to deny one rush attempt. Shetty completely walled off there, and the other pillar is going to go straight away. Ribbon has nowhere to go, and barely got away with that. They got clipped by the whirlwind, but by the tornado, but did not get completely juggled in it. So both will not hit with their respective rushes. Both will trade a cold exchange and remain on similar kind of health here. There's just the one pillar that's left up. They'll go down soon enough, you think. The Scully is just being outboxed by everything else that Replicant has to offer. In a one-to-one arm exchange, the Scully is not going to win it. And with 20 seconds to go, neither of them have really landed that many punches, which is why Shetty is choosing to go for the rush attempt. And with 10 seconds to go, oh, beautiful catch! Beautiful catch by Shetty. They'll immediately back all the way into the corner. And, well, gets grabbed, but it won't be enough to change the course of that. That was a beautiful catch from Shetty. Just took the momentum away from Replicant. And there we go, 1-0 into this point. Shetty does have the, I say does have the advantage, not really. Replicant will have the advantage here with Rush already available. What is the decision here? The Coolerang is still there with that Hydra, will actually land this time round. Juggles with the Hydra, 190. Shetty comes back down with a bang. Gonna stick with this Scully and Burchuk, but the arm weak on the left-hand side. They certainly won't want to see a shield break on that. And unfortunately, it does happen. Replicant does get the hit with the Coolerang and it keeps this perfect streak intact. Oh, no sooner have I said that. Commentator's curse coming in. Shetty missing with the grab. Does finally hit with the Burchuk. And again, slowly forcing Replicant back into that corner. Both with a rush pretty much available. Replicant will just keep the shield up and take chip damage and nothing more. And again, Shetty gets caught with the initial part of the rush, but lands on their feet and just about gets away with the rest of it. So 44 seconds to go. Another good grab from Shetty. They're getting into the swing of going for those, and I've actually walled Replicant straight back into this corner. Hydra will pog them down though, so they'll need to be a little bit cautious. Replicant into critical. Shetty with a rush available. This should KO. It will KO. And guess what, my friends? It's another match 3. Shetty winning that one 2-0 in the set. It's 1 apiece. Oh my word, it's just... You just never know. You just never know which way the pendulum will swing here. So it is 1 apiece in our second semi-final. And whilst Shetty does ban, Replicant will get to choose the stage. Now you feel like Replicant will probably try and change this around now, because Shetty is starting to get that momentum on Temple Grounds, and we are indeed going to see a bit of a switch. We are going to Buster Beach. Can Replicant find a way of pegging Shetty down into the underground bracket? If they can, they will book themselves into the top 3. Now remember, that is pretty much what they are fighting for here. If you make it to winners final, you're in top 3 no matter what happens, because if you lose in winners final, you're only going as far as the underground final, which at the very least is 3rd place. So you see how much momentum is riding here, so how much is on the table. And Replicant is going to come in with a very interesting tactic. They're going to switch out the Hydra for a Biffler. So what the Biffler does is exactly the same as the Hydra, but in exchange of a little bit less damage, Ribbon Girl will have a little harder time seeing, essentially. It does fire through there, but does not fire through as a charge, so you'll see it if it does fire in. There we go! Biff's face on full display, and I hope you're a fan of our wonderful little arms mascot, because you might see them a little bit more in this match. Shetty sticking with that. Shetty does get the grab, punishes the overuse of that shield. Isn't actually quite at rush capacity here. Finally does join the party, so again it'll be the case of who will blink first, and it is going to be Shetty. Arm was weak on the left hand side, so it was a really good time to do it. Keeps that pressure off of them, and Replicant is going to try and force his shield break. Can they do so? They do, but they only get it for 15 damage in the end, and Shetty gets a little bit of a head start and their rush at the same time. But having said that, health-wise, they are very close. But Shetty with another hit with that Scully will just tip it a little bit more in their favor. That grab just almost literally seemed like it froze in front of Ribbon Girl. Just allowed Shetty just enough time to get out of there with 20 seconds left on the clock. Replicant's got it all to do. Shetty is going to go for the rush. He's going to wall Replicant in. Breaks one arm, breaks the other arm. Left Replicant defenseless, and well, Shetty gets punished with the overuse of the shield. Replicant is going to get another grab. Are you absolutely kidding me? That was interesting. Like, if there was like a couple more seconds left on that clock, Replicant could have stolen that right at the end. As it stands, Shetty will come into this with the initiative. They just are looking for one more point, and they will book their ticket in to winners final. But they are going to get pegged by another big time rush. 320, the Hydra and the Burchuck certainly working that little bit better so far than the Bifflet. Burchuck did get the hit. I think Shetty went for the grab, missed it, but Replicant couldn't get a follow-up of their own, so Shetty gets away with it. And as the race to build rush begins, Shetty gets hit with the Hydra. They've got Replicant into the hot pocket, but they missed with their own initial grab attempt. Rush will come up, but Replicant will just take all of that. Quickly tries the box on through and comes in with the rush, but Shetty will block it as a result, so it's chip damage and nothing more. Both arms still under a lot of pressure here, but finally fades away. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, Replicant has a health lead, but it's not a big health lead. And Shetty could still very much get back into this, and doubly so since they will probably get rushed first. Hits in with another Burchuck, tries to come forward, does not get any kind of punish off that. It's just going to bounce off the shield and nothing more. And Shetty is just again looking to try and wall Replicant into a position where they can go for a rush. They keep trying to find a little bit of a way in. The grab does not connect. 20 seconds left on the clock. Another hit from the Burchuck. Shetty goes for it, but so does Replicant, and unfortunately that's exactly what Shetty was waiting for. They were just waiting for that kind of initiative, and that is going to have thrown it all away for Replicant, and Rep knows they've lost it right at the death. They should not have gone for that rush. They really shouldn't have. And Shetty, as a result, is going to take this. It's going to be 2-1 in this set. It's another 2-0 victory for Shetty. And through to winners final they go. So it will be Shetty to take on Riffer in winners final. Yeah, that's just unfortunately sometimes how it ends up going. It's a very dangerous thing to be going up against a ribbon girl like that. The ribbon girl will just jump around in your face because it's like, hey, I've got rush. Hey, I've got rush. Hey, I can either rush you or I can grab you. And they're just forcing you to just take the bait and to go for a rush of your own because they have the high ground, they have the initiative, and they're gonna punch through first. And unfortunately, that's exactly what Sheddy did. So Sheddy saw the rush happen and went, yep, that's my call, and went straight in for it, cancelled it out, and got them the lead as a result. So winners final is coming up. It will be between Sheddy and Riffer. So who will book their ticket into grand final? We will soon find out. And whilst we ready ourselves with the bands, I can give you some information in the underground bracket. The reigning champion is out in a 2-1 set. Iceman has defeated Junior by 2 points to 1. So the reigning champion is out. We will crown a new winner. It could be another multi-winner or it could be a new winner. We don't know at this point, and I think actually I can tell you it won't be a brand new winner. Yoshi has been knocked out by Rafa 2 points to 0, so Rafa will face the loser of 15, which was Replicant. So Rafa will take on Replicant, Grimwood will take on Iceman. And what was the call for the stage? It was Temple Grounds. So we are ready to go. So it'll be Sheddy on the left of your screen. It will be Riffer on the right of your screen. It will be Ribbon Girl versus Ninja. And remember that this is winners final now. This is our first best of 5 of the stream. So away we go. Sheddy is going to keep that Scully intact. We'll also bring in a Scully. A Scully? yes, Sheddy is going double Scully. No, they're not. They're going Scully and Hot Slap. River, meanwhile, is going in with the Popper and the Lockjaw, combination that we've seen them pretty much use throughout this competition today. And so far, it's working quite nicely for them. They both change it, trade in a little bit, but the Popper, crucially, is scoring their hits, just being that little bit more consistent than the Scully, and is going to catch Sheddy with another big-time rush. And how quickly Riffer can just take the initiative with this. It seems like Riffer just cannot be bested today. And Sheddy is just a poke away from going down. Is not going to score the grab. The Popper is unfortunately going to connect because Ribbon Girl is just too close. And Riffer is going to start with the initiative. And what is Sheddy's reply going to be? Going to keep that Scully. See if they can find a way of poking on through that Birchup on the side as well. But so far, the Lockjaw Popper combination from Riffer is just proving too much for anyone to be able to deal with here. Rush will come out, tries to go for it, but Riffer is immediately gone all the way around. Almost did a complete full arc around Ribbon Girl, just on the furthest end of the stage. Finally does get tagged by the Birch and goes down to a little bit of a 1-2 poke from Sheddy, but Riffer is going to juggle again with this, gets another confirm with the Popper, 370 damage, and Sheddy again already in critical and a poke away from pretty much 2 pokes away from going down. It's in the ARMS competitive scene we call it the Riffer Revolution for a reason, because Riffer just on their best days just cannot be stopped. And they're going to dance around this one remaining pillar. Sheddy does have rush available, and Riffer, you could just tell, is just ready for it. Is actually going to take it to the face this time, 260. Didn't actually get knocked back either. And with a rush of their own, they're just looking for any kind of confirm. And it does unfortunately clip Ribbon Girl. Is going to send them into a spiral, and Riffer is going to take the lead in the set by 1 point to 0. That was as quick as you would expect. Sheddy has been doing so well up until this point to be able to hold on, but Riffer is just again operating in a completely different level. So it's going to be, it could be a long way back for Sheddy, but it's not over yet. That was still just the first point. There are still a couple more points in this as we move on to Buster Beach. 2 stages that we still haven't seen today on stream at the very least have been DNA Lab and Via Dos. They are the only ones we haven't seen. I think we've had Mausoleum. Pretty sure we've had Mausoleum. Yes, we have had Mausoleum. Yeah, ignore me. I know what I've seen. So it's going to be Sheddy versus Riffer into match Number 2, we're going to see Sheddy drop that Scully completely. We're going to go Roaster and Burchard. Riffer, well, Riffer's not going to switch from this loadout at all by the looks of it. So once again, trying to come in with another quick firing projectile mess. But Sheddy has at least taken the initiative a little bit more in this fight at the very least. It is a much more closed-in stage than Temple Ground, so it should benefit Sheddy a little bit more. And Riffer, you could just see, just trying to get themselves into a position where they can start building that momentum into their favor again, both with Rush available. And Sheddy knows that they cannot afford to allow Riffer to connect with any of this. Riffer actually tries to go with a punish, but instead gets hit for 165. So far, this is working beautifully for Sheddy. And look at this, it's completely turned around. The health lead very much in Sheddy's favor. And with 40 seconds to go, they're just looking for, well, a grab would KO. A grab would certainly KO. One more hit from anything will do it. The popper is gonna fling on through, and Riffer on 1 HP. The Lockjaw just about missing, and Sheddy knows how quickly that could very much turn around, and the Fireball is going to pull on through. Don't tell me Riffer's going to win this on 1 HP. That would be absolutely ludicrous. 20 seconds on the clock. Riffer knows they cannot afford to take any damage, and Sheddy is not going to force the initiative. 15 seconds to go. Sheddy in the hot pocket. Does not want to be stuck down here. Shield is going to come out. Lockjaw is going to connect. 7 seconds left, and this is going to be a very interesting end to this. Oh, I don't think that's going to do it. Won't. It will not. Riffer should have just gone for the grab. And the rush is going to catch Ribbon out. It will break the shield, but crucially it had to break the shield first. And Sheddy holds on to take the initiative and win that first point, which was crucial for them. But Riffer was just completely hounding them there. They should have not gone for the rush that quickly. They needed a little bit more damage first. Arm weak on the right-hand side for Sheddy. Momentum starting to swing towards Riffer despite losing that initial point. But Sheddy could turn that all around if they can get a successful connection with a rush of their own. The arm again weak, and it's down. Completely down. The popper will get the little bit of a punish. And Sheddy is seeing this match slowly but surely get taken away from them. They just suddenly can't land these hits anymore. The rooster will hit, but it's not charged, so Riffer will not be going down anytime soon. And that is big time damage now. 265. That should settle Sheddy a little bit, but Riffer's danger is still lurking if they can get a successful connect with that rush. Having said that, beautiful move there. Got the rooster just where Riffer was going to be. But that is unfortunately going to be big time punish. That might be a KO as well. It is a KO as well. And Riffer quickly turns that right back around. Again, the second Riffer gets a hit with the popper, the Lockjaw is going to fire out a fireball and just juggle Sheddy in the air for as long as possible. And as a result, it's one apiece in this match. Sheddy cannot afford to go 2-0 down in this set so early on. And you can see the pressure they're trying to put into Riffer, but every single time they go to do so, Riffer's popper is charged up and it hits most of the times and just sends Sheddy straight back over. And they have to do all of that work all over again. Gets the grab though. Playing up in Riffer's face can work sometimes, but that popper, all it has to do is just hit. And Sheddy will lose that initiative. They will land 315. Arm weak on the right-hand side though. If they do lose that, they could be in danger. Never mind that, the Lockjaw is going to connect again with the rush. Big time damage. Sheddy cannot take one more piece of damage, but guess what? The popper is that quick that by the time that Sheddy gets back to their feet, they're immediately going to get hit by it. And Riffer turns that around and is now leading the set by 2 points to 0. We're going to see the same bands coming up, but this time around we're going to see Temple Grounds coming in for Sheddy this time. So clearly they feel like they lost the initiative. They're going to go back to Temple Grounds, and crucially here, Sheddy is going to switch character. So we are going to not see the Ribbon Girl anymore. We are now going to see the Twin Soul. So this could be a very different setup indeed. And Sheddy is going to go for the Chakram. Let's see if they can do what Grimwood and Rep could not. And that is make a curved arm work against this Popper Lockjaw loadout. arm already down. Ironically enough, it was the chakram arm that went down. So this is not boding well for Sheddy in the slightest. And it looks like the arm's going to go down twice in a matter of 10 seconds. And it does! Caught out by the popper. And Riffa really is operating on a completely different level here. The chakram finally does get through. But the lockjaw, crucially, is going to deal massive amounts of damage again. 355, and Sheddy is already in critical. Riffa hasn't even broken a sweat here. And another poke from the popper, make that 2. And Riffa is a point away from booking their ticket into the grand final and being on course to win their 11th Challenge Cup. Yes, it would be their 11th win if they can make it, well, potentially, if they can make it through to grand finals. As it stands, they're a point away from doing so. They're not going to take any damage from that rush whatsoever. Just coasting on back, just teleporting out with every hit that comes out. Popper is going to catch Twin Soul, but off guard. That was the uncharged hit. That was like a warning shot because the charged one hits again. And, well, with Riffa having rush ready to go, they're looking for another perfect if Sheddy is not careful here. And they are going to commit to it, but Sheddy was waiting for it on this occasion, so they'll have to do it the hard way. But then again, this is Riffa we're talking about. There is no such thing as the hard way. The tri-bolts just unfortunately are not reaching Riffa at all. And Riffa is doing so well to just avoid the damage. Finally does get poked by the tri-bolt, so no perfect on this occasion for Riffa. But Sheddy is very much in KO range. If Riffa can get another rush ready to go, Sheddy will fire in one of their own 265. It keeps this match alive with 30 seconds left on the clock. Riffa still only just above the halfway mark, and they can very much KO with anything here. Well, I say anything, with the rush, if it lands. But Sheddy is doing their absolute best to keep the pressure on, and with 15 seconds to go, Riffa is going to find themselves into critical, but it's that popper again. The popper again is perfectly placed and gives Riffa the 3rd point they were looking for and books their ticket into the grand final yet again. I love the fact that I say yet again, knowing full well that Riffa has won this cup 10 times and came 2nd in this cup 11 times. So you do the maths. This will be their 22nd appearance in a Challenge Cup final. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And who is going to be moving forward? Well, we're going to see Rafa take out Replicant 2-0. So that is a bit of an exchange in and of itself. But Rafa beats Replicant 2-0. So Replicant, who was able to take out the 12th-time winner Iceman, gets knocked out by Rafa. But speaking of which, we have a bit of a surprise for you. Because Grimwood has beaten Iceman 2-0. 12-time winner Iceman is out. He doesn't even make top 4 in this cup. Iceman is out in a 2-0 set against Grimwood. So it means that the underground semi-final will be contested between Grimwood and Rafa. Well, this is going to be a turn up for the Bucks. So underground semi-final is coming up. It will be Grimwood to take on Rafa, and this is going to be a special one. And I say the reason why it's going to be a special one is because, you know, it really is anything goes here now. Grimwood has won this twice. Rafa has only won this cup once. The last time they were in a final was the previous cup. But the last time they won it was all the way back on the 2nd cup. So if Rafa could make it into top 3 again, they'll be knocking on the door. If anything, you just want to see Rafa versus Rafa in the grand final. It would be magical. But to get there, first you must finish with the advantage. So Grimwood versus Rafa. Now, bearing in mind these two already fought earlier today, and Grimwood won that set 2-1. It is still a best of 3 because it's Underground semi-final, but it is going to be the last best of 3 of the day. So Rafa needs to win this if they want to move on to top 3, and for Grimwood they need to prove that they can be consistent against Rafa and peg them again. But we're going to see what happens. Who is your money on? Who are you all backing at this stage? Remember that Shetty is going to finish in top 3 no matter what happens. They are in the Underground final. They will face the winner of this set, and obviously Rafa will be just chilling. We'll be just chilling in chat, I assume. If you're chilling in chat, feel free to say hi. It's always nice. And Rafa is... I mean... Oh, bless. Okay, so, oh dear. Okay, we're having some fun in the Discord chat. So I think Rafa's having a bit of an issue. So what is the band at the moment? It's DNA, Mosin, Sparring. So left is Buster Beach and Temple. Okay, so somebody tried to pick, I say somebody, we won't name names. I mean, there's only 2 people, so you can deduce who it's going to be. But we had the bands lined up, and then we were like, I'm going to pick Scrapyard. And I was like, that's a counter ping. So it looks like we're going to be starting on Temple grounds. Just a little bit of banter between us and the tournament organizers. Essentially, it was just like, I was typing in the chat trying to figure out what to say, and then one of the organizers turned around and went, before you say it, no, neither is redacted. I'm like, come on! I wasn't even going to say anything. I was going to mention Sky Arena, but no, you have to mention redacted. Come on. If at any point people want to throw the rulebook out the window, feel free to. But as it stands, we are going to Temple Grounds for our Underground semi-final. This for a place in top 3. Grimwood coming in with the coil again, so they're going to give this another go. Ice Dragon and Roaster is going to be the call. Naturally, it'll be 2 Ice Dragons or 2 Roasters. You know how this ends up playing out. Rafa, meanwhile, is going to come in with the Lola, going to bounce on in with a Tri-Blast and a Bird Hook, and so far, starting off the stronger. It's such an effective tool to use against Coil. Obviously, the horizontal bolts are just perfectly primed for a character who is as mobile, especially in the air, as Coil is. And obviously, Coil just looking out to just wall out, especially at range, with the double dragons, if they can charge them up. Remember, it is RNG based, but so far, Grimwood past the halfway mark and is going to fall foul to a grab from Rafa. Sends Grimwood straight down onto the deck. Almost into critical as well, and another grab from Rafa is going to keep this near perfect round in check. And that is going to be a free grab. Rafa will get the win, the first point, and it is going to be a near perfect. I think they took chip damage very early on, so not quite a perfect. So Grimwood is just going to go for the hard reset here. Going to go for the rush and is going to catch Rafa. Rafa, I think, thought about it, hesitated a little, just a fraction too long, and is going to lose their rush as a result. And Grimwood starting off much better here, coming in without the dragons, coming in with the nade and the roaster. So it's all unguided arms from Grimwood, but it is paying off beautifully here. And if Rafa's was a near perfect, well, it's not going to be a perfect for Grimwood either. They do take damage from the explosion of the Tri-Blast. And Rafa, despite being in critical, is still very much in this match. It's going to block out the rest of Grimwood's rush. This is a very inspired performance here from Rafa. They are not cracking down without a fight, but they're going to have to do something quite miraculous if they want to take the initiative away from Grimwood. They are pinning Coil into this corner. This is a brave showing from Rafa despite being behind by such a high deficit. But fighting to the end, that's exactly what you expect to see with these players at this level. It's going to be one apiece. Rafa will have a slight advantage in the fact they'll have the rush first. They're going to stick with the Bird Chuck and that Tri-Blast. Grimwood naturally going to stick with the unguided goodness. That Roaster and Nade working nicely for them in that previous match. Got them off to such a good start. Both with rush ready to go. And Rafa is going to need to be a little bit careful this time around. They cannot afford to go rushing in to Grimwood's rush again, because they know it just won't play out the way they'd like it to. They do get the rush, but the AoE explosion this time is going to be the one that causes Rafa to have to charge up all over again. It's not what they needed. And Grimwood is going to float their way to potentially a good comeback and a decent lead. They're going to force the initiative, get the grab onto Rafa, send them straight onto the middle platform and towards the corner. They're finally caught out by a grab from Rafa. Tri-Bolt to the face. Not what you want to be taking. Grimwood just holding on to this rush. You just feel like they're going to probably go for it at this kind of potential here. Knowing full well that Rafa is just a poke away from going down. Rush will come out. This won't quite break shield. It'll give Rafa a chance to get back in. But arm weak on that right hand side. Tri-Blast will hit. 30 seconds left on the clock. Rafa gets a very key grab that puts Grimwood almost in KO range, and that's the last thing Grimwood is going to want here. Is going to come out with the rush, but it's not going to do anything. Both arms weak, and the nade will hit. And Grimwood will hold on. They got the good read on the rush. They knew that kind of push was coming, and they will take the lead in this set. Coil wants to book a ticket into top 3, and now Rafa is going to choose the Scrapyard. Now that it is a viable pick, we are going to see Scrapyard come out. Will Rafa decide to change character, or are we going to see Coil coming back out? Only time will tell, but both times there Grimwood managed to get key rush counters. Managed to get the first one where they managed to just straight up punch through Rafa's, and then the second one, the explosion caught out Rafa. Without both of those, you feel like Rafa might have been able to turn it around, especially with how much damage that they were putting out towards the end of that second point at the very least. So it's still anyone's game here, but it all comes down to how Rafa is going to approach this Coil. I'm going to see an Ice Dragon on the switch. We're going to see Popper Ice Dragon coming out. Grimwood gonna bring in the Boomerang to go alongside that nade. And if anything, both characters like this kind of stage, as we start off with a grab from Rafa. Coil loving that kind of elevation. They can jump from there and just maintain a high position for such a long time. And obviously Lollipop is such a bouncy character anyway. The amount of bouncing that they'll do, again, they'll excel with that too. But so far, it is all Grimwood at the moment, just putting up so much pressure onto Rafa, not giving them a moment to really breathe here and not get into the swing of what they want to do. It's already pretty much near the KO range. Another couple of taps and they'll probably be there, and Grimwood will start the juggle. Isn't going to get much on that though, only gets the one. That pillar just a little bit too in the way. Rafa is going to be in critical condition, but they've still got a ways to go if they want to peg back this health deficit that Grimwood has built up, especially as we enter 35 seconds. Another 1-2 punch. The nade causes the explosion. Rafa is a punch away, and the Boomerang is going to hit. And if Grimwood can get one more point here, that is going to be game and set for Grimwood. As we start off again, Popper is going to be the combination. Does finally manage to land on the Coil and gets another one. Will this land? No, it doesn't. Coil was just too far away for the rush struggle to happen, and Rafa is going to have to do this the long old-fashioned way. Going to get caught by the nade immediately, but gets a little bit of a popper hit off of Grimwood. The dragon goes out, but just about comes back in time to shield the rest of Grimwood's rush. So both missing their respective rush, and look at that. Both arms weak, both arms down. That will be a free grab for Grimwood and puts them back just in the driver's seat. Although if a popper could hit, we could switch that around. Having said that, I'm weak on the right hand side again. Rafa just being put under so much pressure that Grimwood just is able to just make these plays, just to come straight up aggressive and just not have a care in the world. Finally the laser does get a hit, but Grimwood is a rush away from securing a 2-0 set. Rafa has lead, but there's still so much time left on the clock. 35 seconds. Grimwood can end it with a rush. He's not going to get the chance to do so, and Rafa tried to go for the little bounce punish poke and instead gets caught by the boomerang. And a 2-1 set in the winners bracket is going to be translated into a 2-0 win in the underground bracket. And that was just unfortunate. Rafa had 2 opportunities to be able to stop that, but unfortunately it did not go to fruition. Rafa is not going to get themselves into top 3. We are not going to see another win for Rafa anytime soon. That second cup seems like an eternity away for them at this point. And Grimwood is in to top 3. So with that, we've got an interesting top 3 ahead of us here. So the underground final is up next. It is going to be best of 5s all the way from here, and it will be Grimwood to take on Shetty. The winner of this set will take on Rither in the grand final of the Challenge Cup. Grimwood and Shetty have it all to play for here. They are both on 2 cup wins each. Replicant is a little bit more consistent with 3 second places and 5 thirds. Shetty with 1 second place and 6 thirds. So you get the general stats here. It's a very even spread here. Like I said, Grimwood that... Oh, not Grimwood. Yes, Grimwood. Grimwood that little bit more consistent, but... yeah, the 6 seconds and the 2 thirds versus the 1 second and the 6 thirds. It's going to be a very even match. Of that, I feel like there's no doubt. And it looks like it's going to be Temple Grounds to start us off in our underground final. I hope you're all sitting comfortably. This should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. So, Grimwood is going to come in with the coil. Shetty is going to come in with the twin tail. Now we have been seeing Shetty use Ribbon Girl for most of this tournament. We saw the twin tail come out at the end of that match against Rither. And we're going to see that twin tail come out again for Grimwood. So we're going to see how this plays out. Grimwood on the left with the Tri-Blast and the Nade. Going to go for all of the explosive goodness. Shetty, meanwhile, going to go for the Roastus 11 unguided arm of their own. And a not the Tri-Bolt, it's the Chakram. I'm so used to saying Tri-Bolt when I see a stun arm. But nope, it is the Chakram. And so far, Shetty is making this work, although finally does get pegged down. And look at how high up Coil can get just from that middle platform on its own. Decides to rush through the Chakram attempt, scores on Shetty, who is too close to be able to do anything about it, and sees their health just immediately drop right towards the critical zone. Is going to dash on through their attack of Grimwood's own, but he's not quite able to get all of it, and Shetty is going to see themselves pegged into critical. The blasts are just completely eating through Twin Tail here, and another rush from Grimwood, who just doesn't seem to care. The second they get the rush, if they're in a position, they're just going to go, you know what, I'm going to use it straight away. They did not get the hit that they would have liked to there. I think they were trying to just catch Shetty unawares, but instead, it's going to be a Chakram hit into a stun grab combination, and Grimwood might be on the cusp of losing this here, despite having that lead, and does so. Wait, do they? No, they don't! Oh my... What? It's a double KO! It is a double KO in the first point of the underground final. So that didn't happen. We're going to do that all again. It has been an eternity since I've seen that happen. Rush is going to come out from Sheddy, but it's going to be completely nullified from Grimwood, who's going to come out with a rush of their own. 240 damage will take the initiative in this point. I say that knowing full well that Sheddy turned that on its head completely. And well, I hope you're sitting comfortably. This could be a very, very long underground final. Grimwood gets out of the corner, still just about has health lead on their side, but Sheddy just needs to be that little bit more careful. They're going to keep that roaster and the tripod, but so far it's not landing as consistently as they'd like. The nade is going to come back out from Grimwood, gets a little bit of an explosion, tries to go for the rush, but is going to get caught by Sheddy. 285, so we're going to see Grimwood lose quite a bit of their health lead. They still maintain it. Sheddy on the cusp of critical, and you just see how much a little bit more tentative Grimwood is here. They're not playing as aggressive as you would expect them to be. They're trying to just taste this out, try to stall Sheddy in whatever way they can. They're going to get caught by another grab. Health is pretty much very similar here. I think Sheddy might just have the lead by a millimeter, if that. Finally gets caught by the double oncoming storm that is the 6 bolt. Rush again going to come out from Grimwood. This time it will connect. This time it should be a big enough lead. Sheddy will not be able to commit back from it this time round, and it is going to be time. And Grimwood finally gets that point. After all of that hard work, Sheddy is going to have to come back from behind again. This is going to be round 3. Yes, it is a round 3 because the first point didn't happen. Grimwood is going to get another good start, coming in with pretty much triple nade at this point. Nothing but explosive. And is going to find themselves caught on the receiving end of a rush from Sheddy. Does fire back with a grab of their own, and look how much of a wall these nades are. Sheddy just suddenly does not have an answer for this whatsoever. Finally gets a poke through with the roaster, and Grimwood isn't too far away. Having said that, that is not what they would have needed. Sheddy is a punch away from going down, has to pretty much wait for all of those explosions to finish. It's a lot of pressure to be put under. Grab, not going to connect. 1 minute on the clock. Sheddy has got it all to do. They've got to cut down quite some health deficit. Does do so though, forces the self-destruct, slows down the rest of them, and has to rush through the rest of that. Otherwise that was going to be absolutely dangerous for them. And again, 3 nades coming out. Grimwood with rush, ready to go. Is going to get caught by the roaster. This could be quite some turnaround if Sheddy can find a way through this. Oh, just gets the shield up in the nick of time. Wonderful use of the actress aura to just zoom, just to slow down everything else. Tried to go for the poke and got shield up in retaliation. Now with 23 seconds to go, Sheddy could still yet get another rush to come off, especially with the onslaught that Grimwood's flinging in. They do! They do! They get a KO! We don't normally see a 4th point in an arms match, but we're going to see one now. This is technically an extra round. I hope you like seeing them because this has gone more than the distance, and this is just the first point of this set. Grimwood is going to have rush ready to go, but gets caught by the Shakram. Grab is not going to come through, and it's not going to get through again on the second time of asking. The roaster will be the one to pick it off this time round. Finally, the explosion comes through. Note that Grimwood is coming in with the tri-blast this time round. No nades. Well, I say no nades. There's still a nade. And the rush will come out again. Will this break shield? Not quite. And Sheddy, just being absolutely patient, initiated their rush right at the end of Grimwood. Perfect timing all round from Sheddy there. Showing exactly why they have done this. Why they've gotten to this level so many times before. And again, another self-destruct on the side of Grimwood. Sheddy has their health lead. They've got the momentum on their side if they can just find a way around. Again, another self-destruct forced Grimwood into critical. Sheddy still just above the halfway mark. Grimwood has got to find a way of pegging through this with 35 seconds on the clock. Shakram just a little bit too far there. This is absolutely unbelievable, and that is going to be Rush. Finally connected. Sheddy now drops into critical grab. Just a little bit too early there. but Shetty pegged by the bolt again. We are down to 15 seconds. If Shetty can get a good connection with the rush, it will be over, but they can't. They can't. The nade is going to get blocked. The bolt will hit. 9, 8 seconds on the clock. This is anyone's to play for, but 7 seconds to go. And Grimwood somehow gets the first point. Have you ever seen a start to a final set like this? My word. Grimwood wins. An amazing start to this underground final set. My word. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. And guess what? We're going to do Temple Grounds all over again, it seems. Nobody wants to switch from that. Via and Sparring were both banned, and Shetty goes, you know what? Let's just do Temple again. You are going to absolutely destroy me. I thought I had... Oh my word. Every single time I go in to an arms tournament, I go into any kind of arms competition, I do casting, and I always think, you know what, I get to make my own experience, I get to have my own moments and see what so many people in this community are capable of in this game. But I would love to have a moment where you get to call a timeout, a draw, or a double KO draw, because they very rarely happen, and you have been witness to one of them right now as we move on forwards to point number 2. Shetty going to come in with the roaster and the chakram. Grimwood going to come in with the chiller, I do believe. Yep, it is the chiller and that nade. So we're going to try and go for a stall approach on this twin tail now. Going for a cold boxing glove to go alongside the explosive goodness of that nade. But if it hits the pillar and it's in your face, or if Shetty can disarm it, it can still self-destruct and cause you just that little bit more of annoyance. As the usual dance around begins, Grimwood tries to get a close ranged grab, but Shetty is just about on the ball for the time being. 50 seconds on the clock, both with a rush available. Chiller is going to slow Shetty down. Shetty just baits out Grimwood, just tries to get a little bit of a feel on them, and actually does land the rush as a result. Grimwood goes for theirs, but Shetty is going to block it perfectly. Chip damage and nothing more. The nades are going to bounce off the floor, but no AoEs will be catching Shetty out. In fact, it's just Grimwood who is being caught out at the time being. 30 seconds on the clock. Shetty is having a much more comfortable start in this point than they did in the first one, which really did go any and all ways possible. 15 seconds on the clock. Shetty has rushed. They can pretty much just time this out from here, unless Grimwood decides to get a good series of grabs, which they tried to go for there, but Shetty has the read for it, and with 5 seconds on the clock, there is no way Shetty is going to lose that. In fact, they're going to go for the rush anyway. They're going to just make sure that Grimwood doesn't get any kind of semblance into that. It does mean that Grimwood will start with rush available, and they're going to come in with a different strategy here. They're going to bring in the Scully. So no nades this time around, Scully and Chiller, and again, just going to be chip damage on that shield and nothing more. But crucially, this is where it's going to get a little bit different. The Chiller is a pretty good glove consistently anyway. The Chill gives it that little bit extra potential, but the Scully is going to be now a race against that chakram. If the chakram can't hit, the Scully may do so, but having said that, if it can get a good register like that, Shetty can get a grab confirm off of it. Goes for the rush. Gonna force Coil into the corner. But it's again gonna be chip damage and nothing more. And this time around Grimwood will get the full use of their rush. Leaves that little poison mark, that little one tick. You can see Twin Tail stutter every now and then. Does fade away in time. And is close enough to get a stun with that chakram. Coil can do nothing about it. As the dance around the pillars continue, Shetty is going to get punished for the overuse of that shield. You hate to see it happen, but again, Grimwood just playing such a close game that they just had a read for whatever Shetty wanted to do there. One more poke will take this into another point, and it does so. Grimwood gets the poke. What was with that? I think it was the Chiller in the end. 1-1 again. And Grimwood is looking to try and extend the set lead by 2 points to 0. Can they do so? We are going to find out. Both with rush available. And what is going to be the read this time round? So obviously Scully and Chiller working for Grimwood. I think they've just switched which side the arm has gone onto. Shetty meanwhile scores with the rush, sends Coil straight back into that corner. with the use of that roaster and the chakram. Grimwood's got it all to do. Cancels in, goes for the rush, and hits with 235. Keeps their match alive. Just about stops the roaster from taking their face off. But it is Shetty with the health lead here by pretty much a bar. On weak on that right hand side, the Scully is pressuring it. They can't afford to have that go down. It would give Coil so much of an incentive to go in for the kill. Again, Shetty is just going to see their health start getting nipped down here. Grimwood is just being such a fiend here. Rush available, but caught by the chakram, but is going to catch Shetty out just in the nick of time. Scores with the rush. Now, Shetty does have one of their own if they so wish to go for it, especially if they can get a stun with that chakram. The Scully is going to poke through, and that's exactly what we are going to see here. Shetty hits in with the rush. I do apologize for the camera switch there. Grimwood is just a poke away from going down. Never mind a poke, a grab will more than do it. And Shetty is going to tie this setup 1 apiece. This best of 5 could be going the distance at this rate. Everybody get a sip of tea or water or whatever drink you've got on hand. You're gonna need it. This is gonna be a long set. Oh my word. And just think, this is just the underground final. This isn't even grand yet. The winner of this set has to take on Riffa. We are going to go to sparring ring, and the Coil has gone. The Coil is going to take a little bit of a break, and in her place, she is going to send out Max Brass. And Grimwood is going to come hard on knocking with this. Both are going to have the chakram. Both are going to have an unguided arm. One is the roaster, one is the nade. And you notice that Max Brass doesn't really stay stunned long with that chakram. It just seems to affect him just a little bit more differently. So let us see what Grimwood is going to bring to the table. Nate's going to explode. I think Shetty just about blocking it for the time being. You see the roast. The second it connects, you know it hits because it's just such a purple flame, which to be fair, purple is the best colour. And the chakrams wanted to try and find their mark. Grimwood, a bit ambitious there, went for the grab, knowing full well that Shetty would probably go for the rush and does so. And this is very much in Shetty's favour right now. Gets another successful block. Is finally going to get pegged down by that explosion, and Grimwood is trying to close this gap. Obviously, Brass is at his perma buff state. Once he hits critical, this is the state he gets into. Just perma buffs both of his arms, that little bit more extra damage and intimidation. You see how aggressive Grimwood ends up playing as a result. Is going to break through one of the arms, is going to deal 200 damage. They don't care if they're in critical, if they can land the rush. That's all well and good. But a charged up roaster is going to be enough to take them down and shift that advantage straight back over to Shetty. So Grimwood going to stick with that chakram and the nade, and unfortunately again caught out by Shetty's rush. Overcommitted with the chakram, tried to go for a quick little punish but was way too close to be able to get it, and as a result the rush just punched straight through it. Roaster just about missing Grimwood, but look at the health deficit already. Stone gets hit. Shetty gets the grab, even though it was like a second and a half late. But it doesn't matter. They've just completely walled in Grimwood, who hasn't got a say in this. That's a perfect. Nope, it was not a perfect. Apparently, there was a little bit of chip damage in there, so it's a near perfect. Always hate to see that gold dot not show up when it looks like the bar is full, but there you go. Shetty is going to lead this set by 2 points to 1. And they are determined to book their ticket into Grands. So what is Grimwood's decision going to be here? Switching out to the Brass just did not work for them, especially in that second point. That second point was just not even close. And it looks like we are going to go straight back to sparring. And what is this, Grimwood? Where is this? So we're going to have ourselves a twin-tailed Ditto. What is this all about? And they both could end up doing a full-on mirror match here. Thankfully, they're not. It's going to be double Chiller versus Roaster and Chakram. But crucially, it's a twin-tailed Ditto. Let's see how good Grimwood's Twintel is going to be as they both do their wonderful slow-mo actress aura shenanigans. But it's Shetty who is going to take the initiative here. Weak on the right-hand side for Grimwood almost immediately, and Shetty proving exactly why they are very good at using Twintel. I think they're both the same color as well, which really does not help. Shetty is finally going to get caught by a chiller and punished by the use of the grab, and Grimwood is pulling this back. Would you believe this? So we're going to see just who decides to blink here. Obviously Grimwood does have rush available. Shetty finally does have it now. This is a very interesting position that I think they both find themselves in. Rush is going to come out from Shetty, chip damage, and nothing more than that. Grimwood is now going to be in a very good position where if they can keep this close, they may yet be able to get a decent rush confirm out of it, and they will go for it right there. Shetty overcommitted on the double, and it's going to get punished as a result. Goes down into critical, but that stun from the Chakram is going to turn that into a KO regardless. And Shetty just being that little bit more of a boss there. And so we are going to see the roaster coming out for Grimwood now. Going to trade out one of those chillers for a little bit more damage. Unguided, yes, but they'll see if they can get it there before the Chakram can do its damage. Remember that Chakram, if it stuns, pretty much guarantees Shetty a grab, especially if they remain as close as they are with this aggressive playstyle. And so far, Shetty has it all under control. Another grab does bring the health deficit down a little bit. And again, both relatively at the same point in regards to their rush. And they're both trying to keep a center stage. It was almost like they're just trading the center stage just every so often. Grab is going to come through, and Grimwood allows it to slow down as long as possible before flinging out with a rush of their own. Shetty on the cusp of critical, gets the stun, gets the grab, pops Grimwood straight back down to half health, but it's going to take a face full of roaster. Is going to come out with the rush, but Grimwood is going to protect that nicely, and it does mean that Grimwood will have rush here. Now will they choose to hold on to this rush and try to go for the KO? They do so, nails in with the roaster, and if this ends up being the point that ties up this set by a Twintel Ditto, that would be a bit of a slap in the face there for Shetty with all the work that they've done so far. And Grimwood with rush straight away available, gonna go for it. Is not gonna get anything at all. Chip damage, nothing more. Does break the shield at the very least, so they get a bit more damage. But Shetty has, as a result, charged up their rush a little bit more quickly now, and may actually have more of an advantage here than Grimwood does. So it really comes down to whether or not Grimwood can successfully read Shetty here. They're both just dancing around. Both of them just dancing around with the actress aura, not really throwing a punch for a good 5 seconds there. And they're gonna do the exact same thing again. Both of them are just waiting for the other to throw out a punch. And as a result, Grimwood has rush back available. So all of this time wasting has essentially allowed Grimwood to get their rush straight back up. And yes, they get caught by Shetty's rush, but if they can catch Shetty off guard with their own attempt, and they're going to do so now and does so successfully, it's going to mean that they will maintain the lead just about. And they're trying to play boxing here with Shetty, but actually Shetty comes off better here. Now with 30 seconds left on the clock, Grimwood has actually got to find some really good hits here if they want to retake this lead and take this to match 5. They get the little bit of a jump in the air, trying to bait Shetty out, does so. Both on similar health. Shetty now into critical, trying to go for the punish, actually does so. 10 seconds left on the clock. Grimwood will probably go for rush and just force Shetty all the way down to critical. Shetty will now go for it and actually falls right into Grimwood's trap. Thought it was right at the end for Grimwood to start punching, and actually the roaster was already on its way. That will punch through. And we are going to match number 5 in a very topsy-turvy underground final. Oh my word, what is going to happen next in this set? And somewhere Riffa is just watching this going, what in the world am I looking at? Shetty has been Twintel for 4 out of these matches. Will they choose now to switch to Ribbon? We will soon find out. Grimwood is going to ban Temple Grounds and Viaduls. Are we going to see Sparring Ring come back yet again, or are we going to have a little bit of a change? Now, oh, my throat. Yep, we're going to Sparring Ring again. So, we had Coil. No, sorry, no. We had Grimwood. No, I'm saying Grimwood like he's Brass. We had Brass versus Twintel. We had Twintel versus Twintel. Are we now going to see Twintel versus Ribbon? Or are we going to see someone else completely? Well, we're going to find out. No, we are going to stick with a Twintel Ditto right here and now. So, my oh my, anything could very much happen here. We're going to see Chiller and Nade on Grimwood's side. We are going to see Roaster and Chakram on Shetty's side. This is going to be the final match in this Underground Final. Whoever wins will be advancing into the Grand Finals. And just the synchronized yeah of the Twintels is enough to tell you how close these two are going to be in their mirror matches. Shetty is going to get caught with the grab, and Grimwood will take the initial lead. And the arm weak on the left-hand side is not going to help Shetty in the slightest. As they both begin their usual dance around, Shetty is close enough to get the quick grab off the little poke through. Grimwood will be the first to charge up their rush. Shetty is still a ways away, does get the shield up, so chip damage and nothing more. Having said that, they are gonna lose the left arm right at the last moment. And Shetty, as a result, pretty much at halfway mark. Grimwood still not quite there. Nade will peg them down every now and then, and Shetty just needs to pick their moment here. They're trying to force Grimwood to stay in that corner and predict where they're going to go, but they're going to get caught out by another Nade, not once, but twice here. Finally gets out of the way of the grab, but Shetty already in critical with 30 seconds on the clock. And Shetty is starting to lose that momentum now. It's turning away from them. Rush will finally come out with 20 seconds to go. It brings that health deficit right back down. And with 16 seconds, Grimwood goes, you know what? No, you've used your rush. I have just enough time to get this off, and you have overcommitted. I will punish you. This is set point for Grimwood. If they can win this, they are through to Grand Finals. But Shetty is not going to go down without a fight, and you know it. So, here we go again. Roaster and Chakram. Shetty trying to start off with a little bit more spice and actually gets the first connection and is going to get a grab as a result. So already has a significant lead over Grimwood, but a Nade is quickly going to turn that straight around, and you see how quickly Shetty has to get the punches out to stop the Nade from coming through, because otherwise it's just so much damage that could be potentially on show, whether via the hit or via the explosion that follows. Grimwood with rush available is going to catch Shetty out on the side step away. Unfortunate placement for Shetty there. Grimwood had the right idea. And now Shetty, if they can land a rush of their own, could still yet take the lead and potentially put the pressure on Grimwood. But as it stands, another explosion is going to peg Shetty straight back down. Again, just trying to wall Grimwood into the corner. Forces the arm to go down. Really good use of that pressure. But still not in a position to get the rush going. Can they do it now? They can't. They can't. It's going to be chip damage and nothing more. And if anything, Grimwood gets a cheeky little punish in the mix of all that. They're just looking for one more poke. Rush is available. Rush will come out. And Shetty is going to go down. Shetty is going to lose it right at the end. And Grimwood, my goodness me, is going to win the Underground Final in a 3-2 set that pretty much had everything. We literally started the set with a double KO on the very first point, and it's been off the rails since then. And Grimwood commits to a Twintel Ditto and comes out better. Shetty will end this competition in 3rd place, and Grimwood somehow just drops the coil and the brass and wins it with Twintel and is in to Grand Final. Oh, I cannot begin to tell you how unbelievable that all was. And the worst part is, that wasn't even the final set. That wasn't even the final battle. This is the final battle. It's Grimwood versus Riffa, and you'll note that they will have a W and an L next to their names, and here is the reason why. Because this is a double elimination tournament. Riffa has not lost a set yet. If Riffa loses this set to Grimwood, we'll have to do it all over again. Oh my word. So let's just give ourselves a chance to have a breather, to just collect ourselves and reflect on what has been quite a remarkable tournament. Remember how I said you were all destroying my voice? Yesterday I did a Rocket League for a final, a Rocket League qualifier for an all-girls Rocket League event. Rocket League is essentially a 5-minute car football game. And overtime can happen in that game where it could last maybe a couple minutes. There was an overtime match yesterday that went on for 8.5 minutes. So the total runtime of that match was about 13.5 minutes. The last thing I needed was a double KO match to take us all the way the distance on that best of 5 as well. And oh boy, it's been, like I said, it's been a fun weekend. My voice is just about hitting that low end, but I'm fine. I've still got a lot of cold water and I can go on for another couple hours at the very least. So I'll be fine. But if you're Grimwood, who has just had to fight through what has been a roller coaster of an underground final, and you're going into this final match with Riffa of all people, you then have to start asking yourself, how much more can I endure at this kind of level? I mean, they're doing absolutely brilliant. But remember that in the best of 3 set earlier in that semi-final, Riffa beat them quite handily, 2-0. So, and this is going to be a best of 5. And not only that, if they want to win this tournament, they'll have to beat Riffa not just in 1 set, but in 2 sets, because Riffa hasn't lost a set yet. So it's gonna be anyone's to play for at this stage. But heck, Riffa hasn't had a point taken away from them yet. Riffa has beaten Yam 2-0, Grimwood 2-0, and Shetty 3-0. No one has actually scored a full point against Riffa yet. So Grimwood is really going to have to do something quite special if they want to stop Riffa from winning their 11th ever Challenge Cup. So Grimwood will be on the left, and Grimwood is... What is this? Grimwood, what are you up to? Well, I said something miraculous. Grimwood is coming out with a Kid Cobra. And obviously Riffa is sticking with Ninjara, because this is Riffa and this is Ninjara. It's going to be the Slam and the Chiller for Cobra going up against the Popper and the Lockjaw of Ninjara, and away we are go. So, first thing to note about the Cobra, you'll notice immediately that those arms are already that little bit bigger. Cobra is just that little bit more of a threat in terms of the straight up punch out. Lost the arm on the right hand side, but Riffa couldn't actually take advantage there for some reason. But finally does fire on in with the Lockjaw. The Slam isn't going to quite find its mark yet. An immediate juggle from Riffa straight away. This Popper Lockjaw combination is just too much to handle, it seems, no matter which character you bring to the table. And so far, Grimwood is having a bit of a hard time trying to find their way back into this. Comes out with the rush. Is going to get a connection. 295. Didn't quite get the extra 20 damage off that grab little poke. But suddenly, that's turned this straight back around. This momentum is slowly going into Cobra's direction here. You just notice how quickly Cobra can slide out as well. Just both of these characters are very agile, very mobile. And so far, Grimwood is make the most of this. Has actually came straight back at Riff, and I don't think they were quite expecting that. But the Popper will finally disarm any further of a chance. But very good showing from Grimwood early on, despite being critical for most of that match. came back beautifully, and Riffa finally getting a poke with that popper. And actually Grimwood is now come in with a popper of their own. Going to keep that slam on the back, and Riffa will come in with a rush, but this time it's going to be avoided fully by Grimwood. Almost getting the slap, but is again caught by the lockjaw. That fireball is just causing so much annoyance, and so is that popper, to be fair, and the trampoline is up. The trampoline is a go, and Riffa is going to find themselves being juggled for 360 damage as a result of that trampoline. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They couldn't get back to the ground quick enough, and Grimwood is right back in this match as they both pretty much try and swing with their poppers from afar. Riffa closing in the gap, now going to bounce around a little bit more. Grimwood getting juggled. Riffa knows one final rush will definitely end it if they can land it. Another successful poke in the air. Grimwood into critical. Gets a good time grab. Sends them straight back down and bouncing off that trampoline. Should be able to block the rest of this and does so. Quickly fires in a popper to get Riffa's shield right back up. And Grimwood still in contention here. They're not too far away from their rush, but they have to survive if they want to use it. 25 seconds on the clock. There is the rush. Riffa just needs another poke. Just anything will do to take this away from Grimwood. Gets a successful poke. And no, is not going to be able to punch through. I think it was the popper again that just... No, it was the fireball. It was the fireball that actually got all the way through in the end. And Riffa just about edges that away. Starts the set with a 1-0 lead. I mean, honestly, are we surprised to see that happen? But Riffa a little bit nervous there towards the end of that. You could see Grimwood was starting to just fling in with that Cobra. Was just not relenting. But the Cobra not going to work out for this occasion. And Grimwood is going to say, you know what? Let's bring out the brass. So Max Brass is going to be the call here. Are we going to see a little bit of a comeback for Grimwood? The match is underway. Popper Lockjaw. Riffa is just not going to switch out of this loadout anytime soon. The Toaster and the Chiller. So Grimwood going to play with some Fire and Ice. And so far it's working relatively okay, but also note that Grimwood is just not flinching through any of this. That's literally one of Max Brass's perk. It's a heavyweight character perk is what it is. It's basically you could just, as long as the arm is not a fire or a wind element, where if it does hit it will juggle, Brass will just not be phased by it in the slightest. So you see why Grimwood is just not caring with everything that Riffa is throwing to the table, and it is going to take Riffa down. Now, can they actually keep this consistency? Actually sends Riffa into critical. This is beautiful here for Grimwood, putting so much pressure on Riffa, but is finally going to get caught. 360 damage. Riffa only needs one more poke, but Grimwood now in that perma buff state. These punches will hurt that little bit more if they can land, however. That's why you can see Riffa just trying to keep Brass over in that corner so that they're good, easy target, and finally lands the lockjaw hit that will take the lead in this point as well. What is Grimwood's answer going to be? It's going to be a Coolerang, and note that Riffa finally has changed out. It's not going to be the popper, it's now going to be the Chakram that comes out. So they're going to try and see if they could just poke on around that Toaster. So I think they were expecting Grimwood to come in with the Coolerang, and what in the world happened there? They got initial punches. I think the lockjaw must have managed to poke on through just in the nick of time to stop Grimwood. Rush will come out for Riffa again. 370 damage this time around. Grimwood already into critical, and this match is rapidly going away from them here. Again, the lockjaw just forcing Grimwood all the way back to take all of that damage from the fireball. It's certainly not helping Brass in the slightest. Does get another good punch with the Coolerang. Just quickly preps Riffa out of the air, commits to another rush. This time it will hit uncontested. Juggle didn't quite stay in the air. Both now in critical condition, and Riffa needs to be very careful here. Doesn't have the quickness of the popper anymore. Does have the lockjaw. I don't think it made it in time. This should make it. No, it doesn't. Grimwood just a little too far away as it punched through the grab. Toaster is not going to make it in time in either case, because it is the lockjaw that again just catches Brass right below the belt line. And Riffa is already 2-0 up. Can they win this competition without conceding? without conceding a round, because it looks like they're going to. Same bands are going to be up for Riffer. Are we going to go back to Via? No! We are going to go to DNA Lab. Now, bearing in mind, Viados was the first time we had Viados on the stream. It's also the first time we've seen DNA Lab the stream as well. So we have actually had all 5 starter stages and both of the counterpick stages on show on this stream. You like to see it. But we also might not be able to see it anymore if Riffer can convert another 3-0 victory. Grimwood has got it all to do. They're going to bring in the Twin Tail and they're going to go Chakram and they are going to go Nade. And Riffer straight away goes right back to that Popper and Lockjaw combination. The Chakram is going to be a nice tool to use on a stage like this. As you can see, 6 tubes to dance around and just fling those curves in. But we're going to see if Grimwood can make it work or if Riffer is just not going to give a damn about any of that. Weak on the right hand side and also the left just about fades away, but the right is still very much in trouble. And look at that from Grimwood, the bravery to go for that, actually hit the nade with the explosion and caught Riffer. I don't think Riffer was quite expecting that. Doesn't quite get as much of the rush as they'd like to either, but they at least got some damage and keeps themselves alive in this match and in this set respectively. But they can't afford to take many more hits from the Lockjaw like that. The Chakram is just unfortunately bouncing off the steps. And Grimwood is now just a poke away from going down to Riffer yet again. And there it is. The Popper will land. And Riffer is on championship points, my friend. If Riffer can win and convert this into a 3-0, Riffer will win this cup without conceding a single round to anyone. And there is going to be a quick little tap. Went for the rush, but could not get anything from it. Grimwood will try and come out with one of their own. Gets 130 at the very least. But will they be able to punish from here? They're going double chiller here, so they're going to go straight for the boxer route. The icicle chain begins and finally catches Riffer with the grab. Could not commit to that too much. And if anything, Riffer now in critical condition, and Grimwood has suddenly turned this around. Where in the world has this came from Grimwood? I don't think Riffer was quite expecting this. Double chillers seems to be the way to go, and Riffer has got nothing to work with here. The Popper is just being consistently punched down, and the Lockjaw just can't seem to do anything. Popper finally does find a way through, but look at this from Grimwood. This is relentless pressure, and suddenly it's one apiece. Riffer still on championship point, but Grimwood, my word, is trying to do this the hard way, it seems. Gonna commit to double chiller again, and Riffer, you just see immediately go straight to that back corner and put a little bit of distance between themselves and Twin Tail. This is a much different play from Grimwood, but they need to mix things up a little bit. I think that's what they feel like anyway, because Riffer may have a feel for how this is going to go from here on in. Rush is ready, available, does actually find a way to connect. 195, it's certainly better than nothing. Wasn't the best rush that Grimwood's done, but like I said, damage is damage, and 195 is still nothing to sniff at. Riffer with rush available on their side. Grimwood has got to predict when this one is going to come out, or if it will come out at all, because as it stands, Grimwood could get another rush charged up before Riffer even commits to one of their own. And Riffer being a little bit more cautious here, it must be said. They're trying to find a way to just stall out the rest of the set. Lockjaw does finally go through, and you see the actress just slowing up the Popper a little bit, giving Grimwood a chance to decide whether they want to just go for whether they want to shield or try and poke for it, knowing full well that Lockjaw might not be too far behind. Rush is available for Grimwood. Riffer does have quite a good lead, but that's going to start nipping down a little bit if grabs like that start coming up. And look how close this is. Grimwood is going to fling in with the rush. 290 damage. They are both on similar kind of health here, but crucially Riffer does have rush advantage. If they can land it, they will win it. It's as simple as that. Grimwood will get the shield up. The health is so close here. It really is gonna be anyone's game, but it's gonna be Riffer's right at the end. The poke through happened at the last possible second. It broke the shield. It sent Grimwood into critical condition, and Riffer is not gonna lose a single round in this cup. He wins it cleanly with a 3-0 set. There is no need for a reset. There won't be anything else to do with that. Riffer will win their 11th Challenge Cup. Oh my word. Well, sometimes when you see a scoreline and you see it say 3-0, you think, oh, Riffa probably won that cleanly. He really didn't. That last match really could have gone either way, but unfortunately it went the way of Riffa's at the last possible second. So it will be Riffa winning the Challenge Cup. And like I said, that will be his 11th win. Would you believe that? It only puts him one behind Iceman at this point. So Iceman has to be very careful. They need to step up that consistency. Iceman were out of the top 4. Your top 3 were Riffa, Grimwood in 2nd place, and Sheddy in 3rd after an amazingly close underground final set. And Rafa, unfortunately, just missing out on that top 3 position. Still coming top 4, which is still a really good position to finish. Hopefully you have all enjoyed yourselves. I most certainly have. Obviously, if you want to know what we do and things that we get up to in the meantime, you've got the Twitter at European_arms. You've got the YouTube channel, which is EU Arms Competitive. And you obviously here on Twitch, if you are watching this over on YouTube, it is EU_arms. If you'd like to join our Discord, you just view the description below. They'll give you as much information as possible. If you want to take part in these kind of tournaments, the Challenge Cup itself runs every fortnight. So the next one will be in 2 weeks' time. But keep an eye on the Twitter account for any additional updates or other community-run events and tournaments between now and then. And obviously, if you want to find out what I'm doing, it is at Tamashi Kanjo on both Twitter and on Twitch. In the meantime, thank you to everybody who took part in the tournament. Thank you to everybody who came by as a spectator. And obviously, thank you to all of the organisers and moderators running things behind the scenes. I will hopefully see you all in 2 weeks' time. And as always, until then, stay fighting fit. And most importantly of all, stay fresh.